Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. There's a halacha in Hilchas Sefer Torah, Siman Yeridea, Siman Reish Pei Beis, Seif Aleph. The halacha says, Chayev Adam Linoi Kavod Gadol b'Sefer Torah. There's a chiyuv to show honor and respect, not only regular honor and respect, Kavod Gadol, great respect, honor to our Sefer Torah. And the halacha goes on to say how you have to designate a special place, or in Kodesh, what you're allowed to do in front of a Sefer Torah, and what is not respectful to do for a Sefer Torah. It is interesting that the Pischei Tshuva in Sif Katan Aleph speaks about L'inyan mashanoyagim be'esha neisea hamelach metaltal Sefer Torah l'chvoidai. It became a custom that we see that when a very honorable person comes to town, like a king comes to visit your city, over the generations we've seen that the Jewish community goes out to greet the king carrying the Sefer Torah, carrying a Sefer Torah. Is that something that halacha would allow? Because the Shulchan Aruch says you have to show great honor and respect for a Sefer Torah. Is that something it's honor, is something nice to do with a Sefer Torah? So the Pischei Tshuva brings from a Tshuva, Shekasav she'ein limches bazeh, that there's nothing wrong. You don't have to protest against people who do this unless it's not a melech. If it's just a regular Joe Schmo, you can't just take out a Sefer Torah from the Aron Kodesh. But for a melech, the Pischei Tshuva clearly brings a raya from Rambam that for kavod malachim, this is not considered disrespectful for the Sefer Torah. When you turn the page and you look in the Beis Lechem Yehuda and Seif Zayin, he goes a step further, and he speaks about Makaim shenagu lahoitzi Sefer Torah lekrasa hagamoin, in the places where when a honorable guest comes to town, the community walks out to be mekabel upon him with a Sefer Torah. May they allow to do this on Shabbos. Now Shabbos is a double issue. A, the issue mentioned before about the covet of the Sefer Torah, and B, you're carrying in a place that maybe there's halachic issues, not the Erev that's suitable enough, etc. So he says like this: are you allowed to come out in a Sefer Torah? Is im efshel litchais hadavar? Obviously, if you could somehow get around it, or give money, or some other present, that would be best, but not to carry it on Shabbos. But if you find there's no other way, when you're carrying the Sefer Torah out, because that's what everybody's expecting, then carry it on steps. Don't walk 4 amos at a time. Or a whole group of people should carry it, and one keeps on passing it over to the next. Only these ways, mutav. It will be allowed to do so in Shabbos. And if you can't even do this, you can't even get a bunch of people to pass over the Sefer Torah or walk, it will be too noticeable if you walk in segments of under Arba Amos. Then, being that it's Shabbos, then you then the next plan B is to get a guy to carry it. But a Yid should not carry out the Sefer Torah to greet the Melech or the general or whatever it is on Shabbos. She'ein kvoidei shel Sefer Torah. It's not the honor and respect for a Sefer Torah. Sheyichalalu olav Shabbos. To desecrate Shabbos by carrying the Sefer Torah in a place where you're not allowed to carry, even though it's kavod malachim, even though you're bringing it out to honor the king. Still, even though, as mentioned before, that is something which is allowed, but on Shabbos, not necessarily true. A similar shaila was brought up, if you look in the Ur Sameach, in the Rambam Perek Vav from Hilchas Yom Tov, he discusses a shaila that he was asked. And that is, it was a day of celebration, a community event celebration, celebrating the king or the mayor or the governor's birthday, and everybody had to participate. And the Sameach says, I was asked if a Yid is also allowed to come a musician. Everybody knows that he's the Jewish music player. how could he be? He can't totally be uninvolved. So would he be allowed to play his instrument on Yontif? Obviously, on Yontif, on Shabbos, we can't break the rule. But on the second day of Yontif, would the rule be able to be broken because of Kavod Malachim? And he has an interesting twist to this. And he says, even though Chazal speak about that that Kavod Abrius is doicha many mitzvahs, that even a leisas Sefer Torah, to a person to make sure that he gets his honor, not to become embarrassed. Sometimes it could overrule a leisasa, but I'm not sure if this will also apply by Kavod Malachim, as he says. To prevent a bizayin, maybe yes, but to go out to honor somebody, and by that breaking a rule, like the Kavod of Sefer Torah or the Shabbos, as mentioned before, he goes on to discuss this, and he tries to make a difference between the music on the second day of Yontif, which he did allow, and the Sefer Torah and the Carmelists not. Now, there is an interesting story that happened in Sargusa, a Svardisha city, in the year Hey Allah from 5,180. At that time, one of the kings were coming to visit the same community, the same city where the Yidden were. And the Yidden, the custom was that you used to come out with a Sefer Torah to greet the king. But they felt it was disrespectful. They thought maybe they will outsmart the system. So they said, because the Svardish Sefer Torahs are different than the Ashkenazi Sefer Torahs, if you take out the inside, you could take out the Parshios and just have the outside box. So they figured, mitzad the Kedusha of the Sefer Torah, they don't feel comfortable to go out and greet the king. So they'll take out the Sefer Torah from the inside and come out to dance to greet him with just the outside box. At least there will be less of a bizayon. And that was their decision to make. Obviously, like in every community, there is a troublemaker. Somebody doesn't get along with the community, and he got a hold of this. He heard of what they're doing. He went and tattletaled to the government. So right away, when the king entered the city, the people wanted to see what's in the box. But little did they know that the shamish of the Kehillah the night before had a dream. And the shamish of the Kehillah had a dream: go fast right away, put the Sefer Torah back into the box. And he took the dream seriously, and he did it. And Baruch Hashem, the community was saved, because when they opened the Sefer Torah, they opened the box, the Sefer Torah was still there. And therefore, on the day of Yud Zayin Shvat, the Svardish community of Sargusa was celebrated as Purim of Sargusa, because they were saved from this possible Chas v'Shalom disaster, and the Sefer Torah went out to be Mekabel the Melech.